Another clearing event, Nvidia. You expect it to be a bullish clearing event?
I mean, most likely, I think markets get very hesitant in front of Nvidia's earnings.
Really?
And once that's behind us, we'll see demand is strong, and I think market breathes a sigh of relief.
And then we did get a little bit maybe bullish or over our skis, so we pulled back to a support level where you feel more comfortable.
That's right. I think most of the major indices have pulled back to what would be technically viewed by our technician Mark Newton as support. So the NASDAQ is on the support line. S&P did a 60% retrace of its recent rally, and small caps have held above their prior highs. These are all bullish support levels.
Attention all investors and market enthusiasts. A storm is brewing in the world of technology stocks, and it's centered around none other than Nvidia, the powerhouse in advanced AI functionalities. With whispers circulating about potential overheating issues tied to the company's latest Blackwell chips, there's a whirlwind of speculation surrounding Nvidia's upcoming earnings report. Could this hiccup spell trouble for Nvidia, or is it simply exaggeration blown out of proportion? As we delve into this unfolding saga, we'll spotlight key figures like Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang and tech giant Dell, as they play pivotal roles in this dramatic chapter of market buzz. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Let's talk about what happened to the world's largest chip maker. Let's talk about Nvidia, which reports on Wednesday. Now, Nvidia is normally pretty open about its business, but like all companies, it has what's known as a quiet period that starts 4 weeks before the company reports its earnings. If there's something that very much impacts the earnings, management's not supposed to answer any questions about it during the quiet period, even if it knows the answer. It is always respectful of it, and you need to know that. Now, Nvidia reports this week, so it's in the final days of this quiet period. That means any news disseminated this week that could impact the company would put Nvidia squarely behind the 8 ball. Everyone knows that you can really throw off any company and its shareholders by injecting uncertainty. Sure enough, this weekend, a publication called The Information said that Nvidia is grappling with what it called, quote, new problems related to its much-anticipated Blackwell graphics unit for artificial intelligence, end quote. The machines are big, they are powerful, and by Nvidia's own admission, they run hot. The problem occurs when they are connected together in a customized server rack. Now, look, this is serious business, these server racks, the type of story I'd love to get a response to you about. But when I tried to get a response from Nvidia, I got, listen, Jim, we're in quiet period. We can't help you. So this really noisy, not great story comes out. I try to find out what's going on, and I can't. That means I have no idea if there's something that could delay large-scale implementation of Blackwell. That's their latest and greatest chip. Perhaps it'll be delayed until January, when management on record saying that the new product line could be humming. Maybe there's a problem beyond that. Or perhaps there's no real issue at all, because the key company that installs Nvidia's chips, known as Dell, announced today in a tweet, quote, the first in the world Nvidia GB, the Grace Blackwell 200 NVL72 server racks are now shipping. The server racks that we were told weren't shipping. As Michael Dell went on in his tweet, quote, we are thrilled to deliver our liquid-cooled Power Edge XE9712 to CoreWeave. The AI rocket just got a massive boost, end quote. CoreWeave is a new cloud computing provider that's been a voracious user of NVIDIA chips. Of course, The Information updated their piece with that info, which pretty much called the whole exercise that The Information had issued into question. Oh, boy, was the damage ever done? So then the question becomes, who's telling the truth here? The Information, which says there are real issues involving delays, or Michael Dell, who's telling you there is no delay? Here it is. I have known Michael Dell for years. He has not impressed me as anything other than a scrupulous business person ever since Dell came public for the first time in 1988. The Information? I first chronicled their activities back on August 2nd, just when they broke the story that Blackwell was running late. Funny, when I called NVIDIA back then about the Information story of Blackwell back then, the company had just entered quiet period, so they weren't allowed to talk to me. Sensing a pattern here? Quiet period, quiet period. Just like this quiet period, I could only sit on my hands and let the negative story wash over me. Funny, when that story broke, the stock was at 107. 5 days later, it was at 98. With NVIDIA back up to 149 earlier this month, you left a huge amount of money on the table if you took your cue from the Information's information. Now, I'm not guaranteeing a good quarter from Nvidia Wednesday at all. Far from it. I've been watchfully waiting for full Blackwell shipments, even as the company's been saying for months that these chips wouldn't start shipping in volume until January. I was thinking maybe they were practicing underperform and over-deliver. Now, I don't know. In fact, I could argue that the information news isn't news at all, though. The machines are complicated. They run real hot. I said that when I interviewed Dover CEO Rich Tobin here on Friday. Dover makes some of the equipment that keeps these data centers cool, liquid cooling. Before Blackwell, there were chips that could be cooled by air. Tobin says it's possible one day that Dover's cryogenic solution might be needed to put into play. Could happen.
The stock market is a place where fortunes are made and lost, often with the blink of an eye or the release of a new report. In the case of Nvidia, CNBC's famed pundit Jim Cramer urges investors not to overreact to the recent revelations about overheating in Nvidia's servers. According to The Information, the company's state-of-the-art Blackwell chips have raised concerns due to thermal issues when integrated with custom servers. However, Cramer argues that such hiccups are part and parcel of technological advancements, seeing this as an opportune moment to purchase Nvidia stock rather than panic. But before we go any further, if you want to keep up with Nvidia's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market. So click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates.
Why do I go into all these details? Well, there are several reasons. One is that Nvidia stock is arguably the greatest of all time. It's had a concentrated burst of strength that's almost unprecedented. This thing is no warhorse. You know what it is? It's a sprinter and a workhorse at the same time. It's Secretariat, a marvel of a horse that won the Belmont Stakes by an astronomical 31 lengths in 1973, a record that I don't think will ever be broken, just like Nvidia. Second, I meet Nvidia millionaires who thank me wherever I go, and I go to quite a few places. These people typically tell me how many times they've been freaked out or told to freak out by people who should have known better. And because I said, own it, don't trade it, they stayed the course. Many of these people bought this stock because I renamed my rescue mutt, Nvidia, back on June 20th in 2017, in a desperate gambit for you to understand that this was a big stock. Everest was rechristened on a day when the stock traded at $3.88. The stock's now at $140. In that time, I've realized that we've all become way too trading-oriented around here. Now, we're in Nvidia at the beginning of August of this year at 107 when the devastating information story broke about the delay, the one that Nvidia couldn't respond to, a hopeless piñata reviled by the short sellers and allegedly by the customers, although I couldn't find a single one who was truly aggrieved. Given the newfound trading proclivity, I have to wonder how many people had the armor of the dog Nvidia and how many had it wear off. If it wore off, you forgot the amazing thing about Nvidia, which is that it has really no competitors. Now, here we go again. Maybe Nvidia mentions the information delay story on Wednesday conference call. Maybe we'll mention Michael Dell's shipment of Iraq Blackwell, suggesting, I think it suggests that they'll still have the opportunity to ship these chips in volume in January, which is what I've been led to expect. However, the trading obsession might have shaken you out today, especially because you couldn't hear a response from Nvidia because of the information to the story during the quiet period. But let me ask you, what if Blackwell really is delayed until January? Will that mean big wins for the people who paid beaucoup bucks to buy competitor AMD up for today? We own AMD for our charitable trust, like it very much. We own it right along with Nvidia, and we know it doesn't have product that's as good as Blackwell. If I weren't so against trading, I guess maybe I would have sold AMD up 5 and then buy it back lower when the erroneous data is washed out of the stock. I didn't do that. I don't play that game. Maybe you think Nvidia's customers are all hopping mad and willing to hold back money. That would be wrong, too. They have nowhere else to go for this kind of chip. So what then is this story about from the information? Is it much ado about nothing? Well, not if you work at the information. The information's job is to sell subscriptions. It's a noble goal. I did it for years. This story likely did that in spades for them. And Nvidia actually reports a shortfall. The new subscription will be endless. After all, if Jensen Huang starts out by saying, you know what, we blew it, the servers can't handle the heat, and Colette Kress, the CFO, quantifies all that business is lost and all the upset clients, then the information may have gotten a huge scoop. Maybe this time really is the top, and it's all because of the server meltdowns. But the bottom line, I actually am more inclined to think that you're getting a buying opportunity in Nvidia thanks to the information publishing a story that may simply not be that, unless you didn't know all that much and you parted with Nvidia as soon as the news came out.
Market analysts have noted the extraordinary demand for Nvidia's chips. After all, these aren't your average microprocessors. These are the computational engines propelling AI's unprecedented ascent. Even tech behemoth Elon Musk is on board, with his XAI initiative scheduling significant purchases of Nvidia's Hopper chips, underscoring the faith leading innovators have in Nvidia's capabilities. As Nvidia joins forces with Foxconn on the production front, their new plant in Mexico seems poised to meet the ravenous appetite for Blackwell chips. But it's not only about Nvidia ramping up production. Major players in the tech world continue to invest heavily in AI infrastructure. Firms like Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta are topping spending charts to build data centers tailored for the future of AI integration. Meta's ambitious capital expenditure forecast suggests a firm belief in the long-term ROI of these technologies. Nvidia's allure isn't just limited to its cutting-edge products or its big tech clientele. It also boasts impressive financial statistics, notably in free cash flow, making it an envy to rivals such as AMD. This financial robustness allows Nvidia to react adeptly to market demands and strategically buy back shares, a move that pleases shareholders and enhances stock value. As might be expected, Nvidia's forthcoming earnings report has the potential to shift the entire market landscape. With Nvidia accounting for a significant fraction of the S&P 500's performance, its earnings report is more than a company update. It's a barometer for tech investment sentiment. Historical data shows Nvidia frequently exceeds earnings expectations, prompting analysts to hold their breath over how much impact, positive or negative, this upcoming report will wield. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Nvidia trading lower today. The information reporting Nvidia's next-gen AI chips have been overheating when connected to server racks. Nvidia had already delayed its next-gen Blackwell AI-focused chips, reportedly due to a design flaw. Nvidia giving way to Apple in the market cap battle, now below the iPhone maker. And it all comes ahead of Nvidia's earnings this week. Let's get the streets take. Piper Sandler analyst Harsh Kumar joins us now. He's got a buy rating on the stock, $175 price target. This report from the information that they're asking suppliers to change the server racks for Blackwell due to overheating. How much does it concern you?
It does not concern me very much at all. Look, NVIDIA went through this about 5 months ago. The thing with NVIDIA is NVIDIA is very quick to make changes, and this particular overheating issue with the Blackwell, that's already been played out, and the design was changed. So if we're talking about potentially a new overheating issue, we may be talking about Grace Blackwell, but I can tell you definitively that Jensen's not the kind of CEO that likes to make the same mistake twice. So I don't see this problem happening. Or if it is, it's probably not a meaningful issue because Jensen was able to come back, or NVIDIA was able to come back from the previous issue in less than 2 months.
But does it change the numbers if there has to be a delay? I mean, Jensen did tell CNBC, I don't know, a month or so ago that the demand for Blackwell was, quote, insane. So I don't think that's the problem, but the timing.
I don't think the timing changes at all. I think Blackwell is ready to go. I think Blackwell is fixed. And we maintain our tagline, you have to own NVIDIA into the Blackwell ramp. I mean, that's going to be the rosiest period of owning Blackwell is when Blackwell is ramping. So I maintain that we've had this overheating issue, particularly with Blackwell, and I think it's been addressed. I think we're expecting like tiny bit of volume to come through in the October quarter, and then substantial volume to come through in the January quarter. And that's the way we see it with NVIDIA.
Well, Harsh, we are going to get earnings fairly soon. So what are you looking for? And perhaps even more importantly, when we listen to the commentary around the earnings, you know, what are going to be some of the key milestones that you're going to watch?
Yes. So historically, if we go back last 1.5 years, NVIDIA has been on this cadence of about $2 billion beat and $2 billion rise. So that literally the quarters are rising about $4 billion apiece. So for the October quarter, we're expecting slightly less than the $2 billion cadence. We're expecting about a $1.3 billion beat And that's because it's simple. Blackwell isn't out yet, so the volume isn't there. When you get to the January quarter, Blackwell, we think will do somewhere around $6, $7, $8 billion of revenue. But you could potentially get two situations. You get extreme supply constraint. You could also get a pause in the H100 and the H200 complex, the older chips. Because, why would you want the older chip when the latest chips are available? So we're expecting, again, slightly less than $2 billion beat, but the numbers will keep rising. But when you get to April, it's a whole different ball game. Again, tagline, you have to own it when the ramp comes. Starting April, we see a massive ramp in Blackwell. We see the introduction of Grace Blackwell at the end of the April quarter, possibly the early July part of the quarter. And then you're off to significantly bigger beats than the 2 billion historical beats. So I would urge patience with all the volatility that we're seeing with the stock and focus on the ramp of the new products. The reality is, guys, there's nobody else in this space that does what they do as well as how NVIDIA does it.
What about supply constraints? Does that have the potential to surprise negatively?
Yes, it has. It does have the potential to surprise because, like you said, the demand is insane. And that's, again, the word that I would use going off of your sentence. They just won't be able to make enough potentially in the January quarter, potentially even in the April quarter. I suspect that they will be catching up for the rest of 2025 calendar to potential demand.
For anyone questioning whether NVIDIA is worth the investment, the current trajectory strongly suggests that it is. Despite whispers of technical setbacks, NVIDIA remains a linchpin in the tech industry's AI revolution. Its strategic moves and market resilience paint a bullish picture for its stock, even amid the usual ebbs and flows of market dynamics. In the grand theater of technology investment, NVIDIA stands out as a pioneer and heavyweight. Its present development and financial strategies suggest a promising forecast, with experts predicting continued growth fueled by its dominance in AI chip production. We invite you to weigh in. Where do you see NVIDIA heading, and how might its journey shape the future of stock investments? Share your insights, and let's explore the next chapters of this exciting market saga together. And finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen.